hemp.com. Marijuana legalization also ushers in the return of the American hemp industry. Get the latest news from the author of Hemp Bound and Too High to Fail, Doug Fine, in our Hemp Day Hump Day update.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's half past, actually 31 after the hour, and we got a very special guest in the studio. We don't even have to go to our phone lines because he's right here. It's Doug Fine, the author of this fantastic book, Hemp Bound, and completely clad in hemp, I understand.
That's right, hemp corduroys here. Check these out.
Oh, styling and profiling.
And here, while we're at it, here's the American Sign Language greeting for any of our hearing impaired.
So ASL greeting for hemp is, or this is just a greeting?
It's ASL, yeah. It's
okay. Far out. All right. So those watching on the web screen, I hope you enjoyed that. Those of you listening on the podcast have no idea what we just did. That's cool.
It involved disrobing.
That's right. While we got you here, I wanted to give you your own Russ Belville Show pin.
Oh, what an honor.
So now
this is awesome.
You can add that. It's not made of hemp.
I am one day. This too can be hemp.
One day. It absolutely can. And that's, what we're here to talk about, Hemp Day, Hump Day, and the timing couldn't be better because this is the first big hemp story of 2015, I think, is you going out to the Oregon legislature and what they're looking forward to as far as implementing the law we passed, 3 years ago?
Yes. So this is very appropriate for a worldwide show, but based in Oregon. We were discussing earlier, the second best timing for a hemp journalist discussion. The other one was the day cannabis prohibition ended officially on the federal level was last February 7th when President Obama signed the Farm Bill. I was able to speak with the amazing modern hemp pioneer Andrea Herman on her show. So to be on another great show talking hemp, it's a big day for Oregon. What happened yesterday was the Department of Agriculture held a hearing based on the hemp regulations that are going to govern the nascent industry. Oregon's recent past is distinct as any hemp states are. You want something clean the way Kentucky has it. They basically are saying this is a Kentucky hemp heritage issue. We want it top to bottom, ag department top to bottom. And Oregon's got there as well through a different route. Laws being passed, and here in Measure 91 in the November 4th election, hemp was included explicitly. So hemp has to happen by state law. What's unique now is that everybody, top to bottom, recognizes that hemp's time has come, big picture worldwide, but in terms of agriculture, but in terms of Oregon especially. The Ron Pence, who is running the program, the regulatory hearings for the state ag department, has been doing a terrific job in making it happen. To give one example, he said flat out at this hearing yesterday, at which I testified and a number of other people did. It was a packed hearing room there in the Department of Agriculture building in Oregon's capital of Salem. Ron said, we want these regs done by February 2nd. That means Groundhog Day, hemp farmers are going to be able to start acquiring seed to plant a major economic and environmentally friendly crop this season. Big news for Oregon.
That's right. You heard it here first. Groundhog Day is Hemp Day. Here in Oregon, we'll finally get to implement this law that we've had. And a lot of this has to do with the federal government passing their regulation on saying, hey, if you've passed hemp, go for it.
Yeah, so it's the federal law right now is a fun little transition period until final full commercial hemp cultivation is legalized on the federal level. Where we're at right now is at this in-between stage. Technically, what has been legalized in the federal farm bill, law of the land, is hemp is legal to cultivate for research purposes only in states that have their own hemp cultivation law, as long as a hemp farmer is in some way associated with the state agriculture department or an accredited institution of higher learning. How the state of Kentucky is interpreting that is, yeah, research, that includes sales and marketing research. So every bit of Kentucky's harvest from 2014 had a buyer. Why not? It's an industry growing in double digits. So really, it's de facto legalization, but there are hoops that have to be gone through until we see that full commercial cultivation. In the meanwhile, the DEA, which has already been issuing permits for farmers to import hemp seed as long as they go through some regulatory hoops, has also been explicitly prohibited in recent federal legislation from interfering with state hemp programs.
Right. That's the attachment to the omnibus bill. And everybody points out that it legalized, it took the hands off of medical marijuana, that it ended the DEA raids on the medical marijuana states. A lot of people are losing the fact that, no, it also protects the hemp states, too.
Yeah, two separate provisions.
That's fantastic news. We're here with Doug Fine, author of Hemp Bound, at Organic Cowboy on the Twitter, if you're onto the Twitter stuff. And as far as these Oregon farmers and these people that are involved in trying to get this, what's your take on their understanding of the issue? Have they gotten better educated and are raring to go now?
Oregon farmers. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if one role that I'd like to play as somebody who cares a lot about Oregon, it's just such a fantastic state that does things right. When they do it, they do them right generally here in the Beaver State. And one of the roles I would like to play is helping to fill in those gaps. Since I've been researching the hemp industry around the world, one of the hardest things, for instance, is going to be for farmers to get seed. They need to know how to go through the hoops.
And this happened in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul, the two senators there, had to intervene and say, hey, DEA, they were trying to get hemp seed from Italy, wasn't it?
That's right. So hopefully to avoid that this year, I'm a little bit surprised to hear Kentucky officials still talking, somewhat adversarial effect. Like, I hope we don't have to go lawsuit again. I don't think that's going to happen anymore, because I believe that DEA will sign off on permits in this kind of it's a face-saving political thing where the DEA is still claiming that it's Schedule 1, even though federal law says not for research purposes. But they're expediting applications when people go through the hoops according to and that's so we play this game now as a compromise to avoid lawsuits until full commercial hemp cultivation passes, hopefully in this Congress. That's something, folks, really you got to get on the horn about, because it didn't happen in the last Congress. There is support. There's the votes, regardless of the fact it's not a GOP Democratic issue. The leader of the Senate right now is Senator Mitch McConnell, who is passionately in support of hemp. So it's the Industrial Hemp Cultivation Act, now going to be introduced, of 2014. Get your senators and Congress folks on it. The Congressman Earl Blumenauer here in Oregon is a leader on that on the House side.
Excellent stuff. You can find that out, and if you can't, just email me, russ@radicalruss.com. I'll get you hooked up with whatever you need to know. We're talking with Doug Fine about industrial hemp on our Hemp Day Hump Day, and in our next segment we'll continue. We'll take your calls at 971-533-7111. If you've got any questions about industrial hemp, this would be the time to ask. And I've got one from our chat room where we opened by noting your all hemp outfit. We're not going to verify the boxers. We're not doing that.
Is that what the caller wants to know?
No, the boxers or briefs. No, it's not a Bill Clinton question.
Russ. I saw that tweet. I'm going to verify it right now.
All right.
Close your eyes.
All right. We're verifying the boxers. Hemp boxers.
These are homemade hemp, organic
boxers.
Hemp boxers.
Wow.
Right there.
That's amazing. So our chatter wanted to know. He said, I really want to get some cheap hemp clothes. Where can people get hemp clothes?
Great question. So there's a number of tons of places you can already get them. But one thing I want to have folks keep their eyes on is, as with any consumer product, try and think locally and try and think sustainably. So keep your eye on where it's made and look for locally made hemp. There is one fellow who I just met at the Emerald Cup a few years ago. I'm looking up his name right now. His company is Parallel Revolution, and he's hand-making mostly shirts now. They're very nice looking. So look up Parallel Revolution. I want to say his name is Jake, and let's see. Yep, his name is Jake. Parallel Revolution, nice guy. I believe he's based in Indiana. Then you have Environment Textiles, which is a woman-owned company that's been around forever, mother and daughter owned, and they mostly import textiles now from China. But my own sweetheart makes a lot of hemp clothing, nothing that I'm wearing today, and gets most of the fabric from there. And you'd be amazed at how soft it is. You don't have to go blends. You don't have to incorporate synthetics in there. Hemp, as it has been historically, hemp textiles can be very soft when they're made from the highest end of the bast fiber, hemp's famous bast fiber. And then look for good retailers. I think these are Hempist. My cords we showed earlier are Hempist. I think they're a Boston-based retailer. There's tons of good Recreator out there. There's tons of good retailers out there for you to get your hemp clothing. Now, cheap. That's get yourself a sewing machine, order the fabric, and learn how to make it yourself, which is kind of what we do on the Funky Butte Ranch.
Yeah,
right?
I would, factor in, when you're thinking of the cost of a hemp garment, also factor in how much longer it's going to last, than something that's cotton or something denim.
Not to mention that 30% of the world's pesticides come from cotton. Forgive me for sounding, I don't know, bossy or whatever, but I urge people, do not buy non-organic cotton. It's a pesticide toxin on your body and in the soil. Good
point. And we're looking for those prices to come down in hemp clothing, and really it's the prohibition that's causing that, because were hemp just as legal as it was in the 18th or 19th century even, this would be the cheapest thing to make clothing out of, wouldn't it?
Exactly. And so along those lines, this is something I brought up while I was testifying at those Oregon hemp regs yesterday. This is it right here. This is hemp seed hearts. So this is when you behold the seed, the shell. You can also eat the shells. You can render the oil. I do all of it. You can get the protein cake that's left over after squeeze. Great, and also great for livestock feed. My goats can't wait. But this is expensive. I'm a big supporter of this company, Nutiva, and I also love Manitoba. It's all good. Manitoba Harvest, all the expensive Canadian hemp seed that's now crossing the $1 billion threshold, I think largely through my own family's, morning shakes over the years. And it's time for the prices and the carbon miles to come down on this product.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with Doug Fine, author of Hemp Bound and Too High to Fail. We're going to enjoy some hemp hearts, I guess it is.
Yeah, that is.
Hemp hearts. All right.
Enjoy.
And we'll come back. We'll take more of your questions as well. Plus, got a great question on hemp and its varieties, and also want to talk a little bit more about you having 1 foot in the suburban world and 1 foot in,
Goat milker?
Goat milker? Yeah, I guess that's the right tune. All right. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Get this book. It's great. Willie Nelson says it's a blueprint for America of the future. I agree. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.